This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Public Works meeting for June 22nd, 2026. I will make a motion to open this evening's meeting.
A second. And roll call. Thomas Salisbury?
Yes.
Leah Strode?
Yes.
Gilson Hogan?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, item number 1 on the agenda is public speak. If there's anyone joining us this evening that would like to address the board on any item not on the agenda, now is your time. Good.
Oh, yes, Mike Caribou, Line Street.
Yes.
Question for you folks. In regards to fuel, when you're putting your budget together, do you get input from all departments on an estimated how much fuel they're gonna need for the year from each department? And is that incorporated into the request that you put forward for the year? Because you asked for 25% more in the last, just before the end of the year, than you budgeted for the full year.
Okay, is that, I mean...
That's the question I have for you in regards to that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, typically public speak is for items not on the agenda that can be part of our discussion of the budget overview for indirect costs, or do you want a specific answer for that?
Well, the other thing too is I sent an email that may not be on the agenda requesting complete vehicle list of all vehicles assigned to the city, both electric and for diesel.
Okay.
And for gas.
Yeah, that has not been forwarded to the board. That's not on the
to the DPW.
Yeah, I got it earlier today, and I responded to you that I will have that list for you by the end of the week.
Okay.
As soon as I can.
Like I said, I haven't checked, I've been busy all day, I've been painting, I had a lot of stuff going on, so I haven't had a chance to look at my phone.
Yeah, you should have received an auto reply that I was out of the office until
I did
tomorrow.
see that, and that's why I thought I'd, bring it up. Thank you for responding. Like I said, I haven't had a chance.
Happy to talk to you anytime, sir.
Sure.
Okay, as for the fuel, it's estimated based on the previous year's usage, from what I understood from our previous meeting, correct?
The way the city budgets for fuel is it's almost similar to snow. We hope that the $200,000 is going to cover it. However, it generally does not. And we close that gap at the end of every fiscal year, just about, since I've been director, with an allocation for an appropriation to carry us through the remainder of the fiscal year with what we think we need to cover the fuel costs. To finish the snow budget, fuel was not included in that. So some of the additional funding was, some of that fuel was consumed in snow operations.
All right. Can I add on to that? Well, that was part of my question. I think I asked you one time whether or not we, as a city, whether or not you event plan for that. I mean, each I would think a snowstorm has a start, an end. How many vehicles, you have 17 miles of road. I used to be on a DPW, Mike board when Mike Townsend was mayor. And so you have 17 miles of road. So, I mean, I understand that
17?
about 17 point something miles of road. But unless
We got about 100 miles of road in the city.
that's not what I was understood. That's not what he said back then.
Okay.
Okay. Then, thank you. I'm glad you correct me on that.
Okay, I'll move on and formally open item number 2, discussion of the enterprise indirect cost allocations. This afternoon, we received an updated request and spreadsheet package. I don't know if we want to walk through it in detail. Seems like the language is an updated version of the historic document with some language brought in from the current fiscal policy manual.
I have a question about this.
Yes.
This is not replacing the existing financial policy manual entry. right? This is just the allocation agreement for the next 3-year cycle.
Not 3 years,
This
it's gonna
is
be
for one.
just 1 year.
This is just our,
Yes.
okay, so,
So the language here says that either it's for annually or we can potentially enter it into 3-year
I
agreement.
see, okay,
But what the chair wanted to do is review it, because we're in such a time crunch right now, review it for only 1 year.
Yeah.
And then probably when things settle down, right before the budget for fiscal year 28, before that, we'll come back to the board and hopefully at that point, we can have a either 3 or 5-year agreement. I am lean more towards 3-year agreement, but we'll determine later when time comes.
totally. Thank you for clarifying, I appreciate it.
Yes,
I
no
see it
problem.
says annually now, so maybe
Well,
I
yeah,
can
I
just
think
be
right
more
at the
careful
end,
before I-
Yeah.
Yeah, on the signature page, it says that it'll be reviewed every 3 years after FY '28 review,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, I know we all reviewed this independently since our last meeting. One request that I had made of the mayor's office was, and the auditor, was that they were rolling the planning portion of it into the engineering overall.
Yes, I remember that.
Which I found was a layer of abstraction that I felt could cause question in the future. So I asked that, even though planning isn't a consistent effort, to carry a small placeholder as a planning line. So if there's any questions as to why the indirect,
I see.
why the enterprise funds weren't reimbursing planning for any efforts.
Right, and that's on the new page 3.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was a change I had requested, just to more accurately reflect the engineering line item, and so there was no question as to planning not being reimbursed, so
Right.
it changed the net numbers a little, but in balance, they should be about equal. I don't know if anybody else had followed up with Greg or the mayor's office for any other changes or clarifications. Were there any other substantial changes since we met?
The only change is that now it's reflecting yes override budget. City Council Finance Committee had cut 50,000 and change. There were some minor corrections needed. Some positions got hired after the budget was presented, so we trued up those numbers. So there was an adjustment of about $60,000 in the budget.
I'm saying, yeah, that's on the monetary side, but
Yes. No.
the percentage allocations
No.
did not change.
No.
Just your
The only thing
updated
was-
numbers reflect the current
Yes.
state of the budget.
Yes, absolutely. And the retirees is another one, but it's all monetary side. You also requested me that I make the percentage either it's a 0.5 or 1 from section 1 and in section 3,
Okay,
and I made that change too.
okay. Yeah,
so
the
it's
math works out
consistent.
the same.
Yes, it does.
Okay. And I know one request I had made of Greg, which was highly unlikely, but I asked if Rayburn would be able to weigh in at all, was
Yeah, I have not been able to do
not
that
with that,
quickly.
yeah, not with that quick time. I asked if they had any opinion on how the adjustment to the $2.7 million indirect reimbursement would affect, our projected 3-year rate cycle, but.
So, yeah, I mean, I had a question about sort of our bottom line number, total enterprise indirect cost. It's at 2.7 now. Do we have FY '26?
Yeah.
Is that in here?
Just to see what the net increase
Yeah,
would
I'm
be to
just
the
curious about
enterprise.
the,
So if you go on to revenue tab,
Revenue 27?
see, row 25 is giving, so if you go all the way up, Greg. Okay, so see how it says FY '23, and just if you roll
There's two
a little
columns, right?
bit down. And so it starts with 22, and if you go to row 25. Yep, right there. So your indirect from 22 fiscal year was 1.6, 1.7, 1.7, a little bit over 2 million, and 2.6 and 2.673.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
that one is pulling from the current numbers, I have to just
So
override it.
26, it's almost no change.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
pulling the
that's the same
number.
number.
I need to change that, I have to go back
So-
and, but I can email you that number from last year.
Okay, so in 25, we were at 2 million.
Yeah.
So, which I think was the last hard number that Rayburn had. So they would have scaled it up a little so that,
But I can, as I said, I can give you the 26 numbers, I just don't have it ready right now,
okay.
sorry.
But it's over 2
Right,
million at
because
this
it's not
point.
done.
Yeah.
Understood.
No, so the thing is that this enterprise chargeback gets calculated on the basis of the presented budget.
Not the actuals.
We do not do the actuals. The conversation, what's going on right now is we want to do actuals for this year just for the insurance cost because it went up
Substantial.
substantially. It was like 18% increase on top of everything. So we're gonna look into that in next couple of weeks.
Okay, so I had the sort of 1.6, 1.7 number in my head, but that was probably from the last round of rate adjustments, so.
So from 25 to 27, we're looking at about 30%. Roughly.
Roughly, yes. But I think we'll be fine. I mean, we'll have to. Also, Rayburn offered, after we implemented the new rates and the new tiered structure, to sort of do like a continual assessment to see how we were on track. So this will get captured quickly in their next review of it.
Yeah.
But
And part of that review that we did with Rayburn was also taking into consideration things like these increased healthcare costs.
yes.
Like that was part of it.
Yes, because we knew even without the adjustment of all the other account that we'll be reimbursing, we knew the line item for personnel was going up. So, which was sort of captured in that 5% rider.
And then, sorry.
Oh, no, it was just to say that our rate adjustments were to rebuild our reserves. Not aggressively, but enough that they should be able to absorb this at least in the first year or two without any further rate. We just won't build up to that 40% target, but we should keep it above that 25% recommended threshold for retained earnings.
So
My goal originally was we'd set those rates for 3 years and then maybe be able to coast for a couple. But now we've set those 3 years and we may have to revisit it at year 4 to account for the new structure and whatever we agree to in FY28 review. So.
and
Yes.
So, while you're discussing the reserves here, we just made a transfer from retained earning about $1.15 million to the enterprise stabilization account.
650,000.
650, and then we did $500,000 before.
Yeah.
So altogether, it's 1.15.
Okay.
and that's
that'll.
practically the increase, sorry.
Yeah, no, so doing that preemptively, does that negate the past few years where we haven't been able to spend because we've been waiting for the retained earnings certification? Okay, that's great.
So, general fund side, we have like a fallback. We have free cash if something goes wrong. We have stabilization account. A couple of years ago, when there was a tight budget and I was struggling with it, coming up with $500,000 to do we raise on the taxation on top of the water sewer rate. That's when I recommended to the previous mayor that why don't we establish this and we'll start funding this and we can put some money aside so we have a backup plan kind of thing.
Yeah, for the interim between.
Yes, so that's where we adopted it last year. This year we were able to fund some money through.
Okay, that'll make operations a lot smoother.
Oh, yeah.
Less stressful for Greg.
No, we had a conversation. I had a good conversation with him, and when we were talking about this whole thing, we kind of agreed that whatever. And I think there is a small amount which is going back to retain earning.
It's like 240,000 or
Two
something.
hundred forty, yeah, or $300-something is going back to the retained earnings, so that would be the beginning balance of the first calculation, and then whatever closes at the end of the fiscal year, that will determine the retained earning for next year.
Okay.
And we're gonna do the same thing, the needs are gonna be identified, appropriation will be taken out. If there is an extra, we'll just put it towards the stabilization account so we can build some equity there.
That's great. Sounds like a good mechanism.
For those of us who are maybe on our first go around, can you explain the retained earnings and the stabilization fund? Do they all move over every time?
No.
Okay.
So retained earnings is basically, if I say it in a normal language, is whatever the access, so it's not a simple calculation, but I'll try to make it a little simple.
Thank you.
When books closes, all the expenses are closed. So let's say the expenses are estimated that we're gonna spend $100. We end up only spending $96. So that $4 will go towards the retained earning calculation. Same with the revenues. We projected we're gonna collect $100 because that's what the balanced budget is. Sorry. Excuse me. Same with the revenue that we projected we're going to earn $100 because that's where the balanced budget is, and we end up earning $106. So that $6 goes towards the retained earning calculation. All the appropriations gets taken out. Whatever is not collected on the water sewer rates receivable, that gets deducted out of that calculation, and then DOR certifies that dollar amount that okay, on the basis of the books of accounts, this is what you're showing, and we are allowing this much as a certified retained earnings. So those are the numbers which you can use with city council's approval. So there is a whole process. We put forward an appropriation out of it, goes to the city council for the first reading, finance committee for discussion, and for public hearing back to the city council, and approval takes place or denial comes. We haven't seen any denial so far. I'm going to hope that it stays that way. So that's the retained earnings. Now, with the retained earnings, the stabilization account in a simple language is a savings account, basically. You can fund that stabilization account with any funding source.
Okay.
Well, with enterprise fund, we are funding the stabilization account with the retained earnings. So same, the appropriation, instead of going towards spending, it goes towards the savings account. When it's a stabilization account, the only two transactions can take place in stabilization accounts is either transfer in or transfer out. There is no expenditure gets charged directly. It has to be approved by the city council. So it goes through the same process of appropriation, which if any appropriation would go out from the retained earnings. The privilege is that with the stabilization account, we earn more interest. It goes into a special trust account and we earn more interest, and that interest gets booked into that same account and stays with that. So it will stay with enterprise stabilization, will stay with the enterprise. It won't go to somewhere else. And anything coming out, everybody would know because it needs to go through a formal process of city council.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And is this the same thing as the reserve funds that we've been talking about?
Yes, in general, the reserve funds is
Held in the stabilization?
well,
Okay, got
under
it.
the new mechanism.
Yeah.
Previously, they were just the annual retained earnings that were carried forward every
Okay.
year.
Okay.
But there's this odd window between the close of the end of the fiscal year and when
It's certified.
and all that certification, which can take 3 or 4 months. And so like for a third or a quarter of the year, that money is not really touchable yet. So I guess under this new mechanism, the stabilization fund is accessible at any time after the money is transferred there.
Yes, that money is available. It's not like fiscal end. It's available on June 30th. It's available on July 1st.
Okay. And so, thank you for helping me understand.
Yeah.
Yes, no problem.
No, it's all, yeah,
this is
municipal
good.
finances are.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
So when we
I think that the biggest, like to put it in her terms, was say, you know, your budget's gonna be $40, and that goal of having 25% reserves means you'd like to always have $10 available above what you're budgeting every year to have, you know, as an emergency fund like you would use in your household, kind of.
And when we were deciding between the options for the rates, one of the things we looked at was what level of reserves we would end up with every year given the projected spending.
Correct.
Okay.
And, you know, sort of the industry standard is to have a minimum, I think it's 25%
Yeah.
of your annual operating budget, where we felt it was more comfortable due to the age and state of our infrastructure to have it
That direction.
in the 30 to 40 range, just for, you know, like $1 million effort at the outfall to the Connecticut River. That could
Anything.
happen, you know,
Things do happen.
Yeah.
large increase in indirect costs. So,
Okay.
yes,
So just to add one more thing, if you ever need, if the stabilization accounts are healthy balances, it helps a lot with the borrowing rates too. Not that enterprise has a lot of debt at this point, but if ever needs to borrow the money, this is another mechanism which the bond rating call looks at it and says, what are you doing? What's going on with your, like, what's your backup plan? What if something goes, you know, south, and how are you gonna solve the problem? So this looks really good on that too.
Okay, so I didn't bring this document, but does anyone have a sense of the reserves right now and like the projected reserves that Rayburn modeled based on the rates that we set? I know I have it in my house.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
no, but I think from year one, we were over the 25% threshold.
Yeah.
So,
Unexpected
Yeah.
expenses.
I mean, we'll look at it, I mean, and if year one it drops below that, I mean, we'll have the next 2 years. I mean, you know, we can have Rayburn assist us with that.
Yeah.
Once we have some metrics in for maybe the first quarter or two of billing to see, you know, do a half-year update rather than wait for the one-year update.
Okay. Thank you everyone for helping me understand that.
No.
I think I have the picture now.
Any,
I had there were just a couple of percentage changes and I was just curious. I think I recall us discussing one of them, engineering reduction from 35
the 38?
to 38, yep.
Yeah, I think that is the offset. There's now a new line item. There's 3.
In third section for planning.
There is now cost center 1720 towards the end, planning at 10%.
Page what, 3?
Page
Yes.
3 of 4.
Oh, so it's,
Planning wasn't
Yeah.
there before, and they were capturing planning's
yes.
effort within engineering. But I thought it was more straightforward and clear to carry its own number. That way, just any department that the enterprise funds interact with is
Oh, and that
captured.
was actually the only change, because I'm realizing now I thought personal had dropped, it was
But
just
it's
planning.
just, it shifted down.
It shifted, yeah, okay.
I know you've been involved in this. Greg, any issues with what's being presented for this year?
No, I think we have a pretty fair and comprehensive.
Yeah, I think we've all
Estimates in
taken a
each.
look at it, even though it's been a compressed cycle.
And the last time this was updated was in 2015, is that what I remember?
FY15.
Yeah, so that's a long time ago.
Well, because under that metric, it was a flat ratio of 10% for all the departments listed, outside of the ones that were specifically called out in section 1, so.
And this really breaks it down a little bit more so you can see.
Yeah,
it
it's
better
not
level of
that-
Detail.
It's not that the enterprise funds had been paying the same reimbursement since FY15. They've been paying the same percentage of the budget. So as the budget has increased every year, the cost has increased. So it's now just more a granular breakdown of which departments and,
It seems fair.
yeah, like I said from the beginning, I wanted it to be a true reflection of the cost. And, yes,
Real quick.
obviously, yeah.
So last time when collection was not broken out, we didn't discuss in detail towards the end.
Yes, we got a little compressed there at the end.
Yes, that's okay. The thing which I want, if you ever want to go back and compare what we discussed last time and now, I had to break it down between collections department on page 3 of 4. Part-time clerk has been added, it's newly added position, which was not part of the budget before. It just happened like a couple months ago. And that is something which is separately added onto the line
Yeah, and that's because that's a new position that's going to be assisting with the,
with the
Billing.
water
collections.
billing and collections
Yeah.
and, yes.
yeah, so that would be an obvious cost to the enterprise.
Yes,
Is there
but-
any reason that that person is employed directly through the collections office and is not a DPW staff member? Is it just
because of the operations,
where they're positioned
yes,
in the building?
and the cash and everything, and they handle a lot of cash that they need to be bonded and secure and
Completely understand. I was
Yes.
just a curiosity if it was a
Yeah.
position that was basically dedicated to DPW use, but if we reimburse for all that cost, then
so it's
there's no change.
more of like the centralized place, like it's a one place and you have all these collections going on, which was in place from last, what's that, eight years now?
Okay,
Yes,
That
so,
makes sense.
yeah.
yeah, it was just a question, not
Yeah, no problem.
No need to recreate the exact same thing somewhere
a,
else.
yeah, if you can just reimburse that department for
Yeah.
the burden that they're carrying a new employee for us.
And that reimbursement is for everything, the healthcare, the, the
No.
this, the that, okay, so that's separate.
So the health insurance benefits is only for wastewater, the enterprise staff.
Right, so what I'm,
Nothing, so this cost here on page 3 of 4 does not include their health insurance. There is just the percentage of the work they are doing for enterprise, their salary has been charged or their operational need has been charged, but their benefits are not charged to the enterprise.
Right,
Okay,
but
so
it's
the-
captured in the percentage of in that number.
No, it's not.
so who pays for their benefits?
City does, general fund pays for their benefits.
Right, but why aren't we reimbursing for
We should
that
pay for
portion
benefits.
of their,
The-
I mean,
that might be the second round cycle.
Yeah,
for
But
simplicity.
we do again, but.
because I would think, I understand this is the document for FY '27, but yeah, maybe we would look at, well, wouldn't that follow like a similar, because like we're paying 15% of the mayor's salary, or mayor's line item.
Yeah,
That would
budget.
include, of his department's budget, but does that department budget not include their healthcare?
Doesn't.
Oh, wow.
So
Well-
it's a very hard to, because if you look at citywide health insurance, it's under unclassified, which is about 225 staff, including all the school departments. And if you have to pay by line item by
To
line
break it
item.
out.
Yeah, we can't pay on an invoice, another the budget number of,
Understood.
right? So what it is the same way, it's a centralized, so it's
Cost.
centralized under unclassified, so maybe in the next round we can discuss and see if a certain percentage of the unclassified, we can charge it to,
Okay. I just assumed that the line item carried every cost for that department.
Including benefits, so this is just salary, not total compensation package.
yes.
Okay.
Well, it's departmental costs, so
Right, it's a-
copiers, pens, paper, like it's
Right.
what that department.
Postage and all that, but
Yeah.
it's
Right.
not, their benefits are not included.
Okay,
Might be something to look at next time.
Yeah, so if you look at the page 2 of 4, it has all the 32B insurance, the 4th section down there.
but that's just for the head
That's-
count of the DPW.
Yes.
Or of the enterprise.
Yes,
Not the,
enterprise.
yeah.
So maybe when we discuss it next time, we can include that, increase it additionally, whatever the percentage is going to be.
At least for the clerk and the.
Yeah.
That's a cost that the city is bearing because of the enterprise collections, so, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, like you said, there's a balance of trying to capture every dollar and also just capturing the broad strokes of what the enterprise is indirectly costing. So I noticed in the original document you guys had provided a couple months ago when there was a sign off for all three of us. Now this current version just has a sign, and I think it's because it's probably in keeping with the current policy, that it's just an agreement between the mayor, the auditor, and Greg.
So
So-
we went back and looked into the previous agreements, and it was only DPW director would sign it. But then we also found the minutes. I think
Yeah,
Michelle and Greg helped us found the minutes. So
Okay.
this time, kind of like go with the consistent, what we did. Nothing special, it's just like,
Yeah,
it
no,
was
I-
discussed by the Board of Public Works. And then
We recommend
with
that
their,
Greg signs
yes,
it.
then your blessing, and then he would sign it. That's why we
Yep.
avoided those.
Yep, no, I just wanted to make sure it was an oversight and the quickness to get it to us. Because, yeah, the previous one had just been a vote by the board to authorize
Yeah.
the DPW director to sign the agreement. So I know it's been a compressed timeline, but does everybody feel they've sufficiently reviewed it and are comfortable with the policy for FY '27?
The next year.
The next year, yeah.
Do we need to take a vote?
Yes, I think so, just for, so I will make a motion to recommend that Greg authorize the agreement as presented by the mayor and city auditor.
I'll second.
Thomas Salisbury
Yes.
and Leah Strode,
Yes.
Wilson Hogan.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Is there a copy? Sign a copy before you table it, paper one, or sign now, or how do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, it's just at your discretion, you've got the authorization to do it.
All right.
All right, is there any further discussion on any topics we've addressed this week?
It's just for this.
It's just for this.
Just this.
Oh, well, my name's spelled wrong on there anyway.
Oh, we'll fix
Why don't we
it.
fix it? I'll come sign a good one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting and thank everyone for coming for an off-cycle meeting.
I second the motion.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.